So I have the Forefront Industries intercooler pipes. Got a nice little diagram for the silicone connectors and a heap of these hose clamps. And I think that's for the boost gauge. There's thread in there as well as the blank. These should replace the pipe down here from the turbo exit, as well as I believe there's one behind this grill and the top one up here. I think they're pretty common for splitting. My top one here did split at the turbo end, so I replaced it with this Forefront Industries like silicone one. The downside to them generally seems to be that it puts a lot more tension on the airbox, and I did try an SAS one first, which did not fit. They're also pretty hard to get on, but I found if you spray that with dish soap, then it just slips on incredibly easily. My grill's already missing all the pins at the top, so I should be able to just give this a good yank. That was a bit easier than I thought. Now my finger is stuck. That should give us access to that one there. So I've undone turbo end with that one's a 7mm, and the one down there which is a 10mm, and this looks like the piece that's going to go in here in the end. So I'll yank that bit out. The annoying thing about these though is I do tend to disconnect this in order to replace my oil filter, which is there. So I have to see how that pans out. Actually, it might need to be a bit looser. So according to this, so that's our first pipe there, turbo to intercooler, 1.75 inch to 2 inch. Annoyingly, on these ones they've measured them in mil. Fabulous. However, roughly that is, that's 1.5, or maybe 1.75, I'm assuming. That one is just about 2. So that 2 inch to a 2 point and a little bit, which that seems to be. And that one meant to be 2 inch full on the other side. Or maybe it's the 1.75. Either way, these are the only two that really fit, as they're all bigger. So I've chosen them, and a few of these that look small in their current config. This end, with the logo on it, seems to be closest to the turbo. That one's further away, so I'll spray them with some detergent wherever that went. So these ones are actually pretty easy to slide on by the looks of it. There's not too much of a fight. But with my other one from the airbox, I had to use detergent, and that worked really well. But in this case, we look like we're right. What I just discovered actually was that these have sizes. So it's a 30 to 57. All these are 40 to 64. All of these are 45 to 70, and the mega one is up to 83. So I know that's probably the turbo because that's the smallest one. Then I'll use these for the rest, and then the rest of them are bigger. So I'll save that. And I already know that's like the end. All right, discovered a few things actually. So first one is that this plastic pipe here has a notch. The plastic razors here. So this can't actually push any further onto this because it stops at this little notch there. And that notch also coincides perfectly with how far in. So halfway is where it reduces to a different size, and I can feel in there it stops exactly at that point. So you'll only be able to slide it on so far. The other thing is put the hose clamp on top of this first, otherwise you won't be able to squeeze it over the lip. So just leave it loose there and then move it back here. I'll put that one first because otherwise I can't get the turbo on, I don't think. We're about to find out. Alright, so this does seem to be quite an angle coming out of there. I can't really make it fit any otherwise. I'm more worried about clearing that bit. But I guess once the hose clamps are tightened, it's probably not going to matter that much because it probably still needs a bit of play in it. So I've positioned them in a way that's easy for them to be tightened. Did take a little bit longer than I thought. Now, that one is on a bit of an angle. However, it seems to be pretty tight. Same with this one. What I found is that it's possible to tighten these without that notch fully in there. So it looks like it's in, but this could actually be tightened, crushing this and that being on the other side. So you got to be real careful, but I'm pretty sure that that is solidly in there. So that's one done, and we've got some clearance between there. I think that is going to be a really annoying oil filter change next time, because I think you would have to take this off to get it out, which is annoying. The next one has a 2 times these rubber 2.125 to 2.25, which will probably be these ones, and there's only a 2 of. Assuming the larger end is going to go on this, shorter on intercooler. Same 2 different size hose clamps. I'll need some bigger ones. Getting to this bolt under here has been a bit challenging. I've unscrewed half the headlight. There's probably one under the fare there, but using a universal joint, it seems like you can just get that most of the way. And annoyingly, the other one is under that bit. So when I reinstall this, that one's going to be this side and that one's going to be there. Look to be 3 things holding this MN Triton's headlock on. There's a bolt there, self-tapper here, there was one here, and the inner guard come out, as well as a lot of dirt. Up here, just to the right of the neck, there was a nut that fell off somewhere. Probably gone now, there it is. And I'm hoping now that nothing happens. So it really helps if you disconnect the wiring first. And then I ended up undoing this screw here, which was in there, because it was hitting this bracket as it went up. And I just used a screwdriver to pry out that bit, because there's quite a bit of flex in that. And now by the looks of it, oh, there's one more. The headlight is out. Alright, so I've connected that one on there. I've cleaned up some of the dust because I removed the headlight. Try not to get any of it in the intake. And now, in theory, I'll be able to slide it here. And in fact, might be better putting that hose ring on there first. What I ended up doing was yanking this bit out, which was through there. There are 2 rubber grommets, and then obviously that pipe that leads up to this butterfly valve. But I reckon it's going to be a lot easier to install the tube in there and then insert this from the other side. Those are the nuts and washers that have come off it. And there's not as much, there's a bit of oil in there, but it doesn't look too bad. Alright, I reckon I've wasted a whole hour trying to get this in. I've redone up that a little bit, and the joiner's in there. That one's fine, just needs to be tightened. This one's been a struggle. What I've found, so I had to add some dish soap, is if you push the turbo flange the entire way back as far as it will go, then you can get it in there. And I'm going to try slide it this way over top of that. Otherwise, it just doesn't go in any other way. It's looking a lot better. So if I had known that from the start, it would have saved like an hour. This end looks to be in. How far in, it's hard to know. I feel a lip there, so probably find where the lip is just by where this hose clamp goes over top of. I'll see if I can press it down there as much as I can. So I'll tighten that one. You can see I had to move this clip because it's scratching up that. And I'll probably tighten them in there, and that should be it. Alright, all done. It took significantly longer than I thought it was gonna. But Ooh. Nothing's failing, everything's all tightened up. So I'll start it, make sure we're still good. Squeaky belts, otherwise so far so good. Here's what's left of my old ones. Rubber is very hard, but I haven't reached any close point of failure, I don't think. You can tell the turbo one was hotter at that end, but